Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. Today we'll be discussing the former Durmstrang student Viktor Krum and whatever happened to him after the fateful events of the Triwizard Tournament in 1994. Born in Bulgaria during the year 1976, Viktor Krum was a European wizard who received his magical education from the Durmstrang Institute, which was located in Northern Europe and one of three of the continent's largest wizarding schools. Growing up in Bulgaria, Viktor and his family were exposed to the horrific acts of the dark wizard Gellert Grindelwald. In fact, Grindelwald was even responsible for the death of Viktor's grandfather, which led Krum to despise the dark wizard and his followers. Despite being marred by this tragedy, however, Viktor went on to become a talented student and internationally recognized Quidditch player. He was even selected as the Bulgarian national Quidditch team's seeker while still attending the Durmstrang Institute. At just 18 years old, he played in the 1994 Quidditch World Cup before returning to school that same fall. Many fans actually say that it was young Viktor Krum's talent on the pitch that helped the Bulgarian team make it to the final match against Ireland that year. Sadly for Krum and his teammates, Bulgaria was not successful in taking the title, as they lost to Ireland 170 to 160. Later that same year, though, likely due to his prowess on the international Quidditch pitch, Viktor was chosen by Durmstrang's headmaster, Igor Karkaroff, as one of only a few hand-selected students to compete in the 1994 Triwizard Tournament against Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry and the Beauxbatons Academy of Magic. Alongside his fellow pupils, Viktor arrived at Hogwarts Castle, the location of that year's tournament, by way of the Black Lake, aboard the Durmstrang ship. After his arrival, Viktor was, as many of you may remember, chosen by the Goblet of Fire to compete in the tournament as Durmstrang's champion. Krum was selected alongside Fleur Delacour, the champion for Beauxbatons Academy of Magic, Cedric Diggory, Hogwarts champion, and Harry Potter, the unwelcomed and unprecedented fourth and final champion, who also represented Hogwarts that year. During his time participating in the Triwizard Tournament at Hogwarts Castle, Viktor became interested in Hermione Granger, inviting her to attend the 1994 Yule Ball as his date. Viktor even went so far as to ask Hermione to visit him in Bulgaria after the tournament ended. However, future contact between the two became limited to only letter correspondence and was strictly platonic, despite what you may have read by the Wizarding World's infamous gossip columnist Rita Skeeter. With the conclusion of the Triwizard Tournament comes the end of what many of us know about Viktor Krum. This isn't all that surprising, since his participation in the tournament was most definitely his most memorable and impactful appearance throughout the series. Which brings us to the main question of today's video: what in Merlin's beard happened to Krum after the tournament ended? Rather brutally, I might add. Well, considering that Viktor was in his final year of school when he attended the Triwizard Tournament, it's likely that he went on to graduate at the end of the 1995 academic year, after he had returned to Durmstrang. Presumably, after he graduated, he went on to continue playing Quidditch for the Bulgarian national team, which seems to be supported by the fact that by 1996, he had his own chocolate frog card. As Fleur Delacour had been a fellow champion competing alongside him and Harry during the Triwizard Tournament, it's not surprising that Viktor was then invited to Fleur and Bill Weasley's wedding in August of 1997. The idea that Viktor had continued to succeed as a high-level Quidditch player is then further supported by a comment he made while at Fleur and Bill's wedding reception. After learning that Hermione, who of course he'd been interested in during his time at Hogwarts, was involved with Ron, and that Ginny was, unbeknownst to her, spoken for by Harry, he said, "What is the point of being an international Quidditch player if all the good-looking girls are taken?" In any case, soon after making this comment, Fleur and Bill's wedding was attacked by Death Eaters, and it is believed that Krum then aided in the defense of the Burrow, the Weasley family's home, and location of the wedding. Despite having helped in the fight that took place at the Burrow, from what we know, Viktor did not go on to play any great part in the subsequent downfall of Voldemort. However, this is not particularly surprising, as he lived in Bulgaria, and the majority of the Dark Lord's attacks during his second rise to power were in the United Kingdom. After the defeat of Voldemort and the Wizarding World went back to business as usual, Viktor continued to be a seeker for the Bulgarian team, participating in international matches across the globe until the early 2000s. He retired in 2002 at just 26 years old after a disappointing defeat against Egypt during the final match of the 424th Quidditch World Cup. Of course, his retirement in 2002 was not the end of his Quidditch career, as he famously returned to the pitch in 2014 to once again play for Bulgaria during that year's Quidditch World Cup. And although the 2014 World Cup took place in the remote Patagonian desert, we fortunately have a detailed first-hand account of the matches that took place there, thanks to Ginny Potter, who attended and reported on the games as the Daily Prophet's Quidditch correspondent. Ginny first mentioned Viktor and his Quidditch performance during her reporting of Bulgaria's initial match against New Zealand, in which Krum's team beat out their opponents 410 to 170. Here, Ginny made reference to Viktor's old brilliance, despite the fact that he was the oldest player in the tournament at the age of 38. After helping his team make it to one of the quarter-final matches, Krum and the Bulgarians once again came out on top, besting the Norway team, a fan favourite to win the whole thing. Their 170-20 victory was a result of Viktor's seeker skills, as he caught the golden snitch in only the 42nd minute of the match. As Ginny reported, Krum's performance showed that not only could he still compete, he could win. Then, in the semi-finals, Viktor and the Bulgarians won out over Japan, 610 to 460. However, before they claimed victory, Krum displayed an incredible act of sportsmanship worth noting, which was attributed to his experience as a player. Describing the scene, Ginny Potter wrote, "Then came a triple display of sportsmanship that nobody who witnessed it will soon forget. With bludgers still flying like cannonballs, Volkanov deliberately interposed his body to protect teammate and seeker Krum, who was in hot pursuit of the snitch. Volkanov was knocked out cold and fell from his broom, only to be caught and saved by Japanese seeker Noriko Sato. Seeing that Sato was unable to pursue the snitch, Krum pulled up and did not capitalize on his momentary advantage. Krum, Sato, and Volkanov, once revived, were given a standing ovation by all spectators as play resumed. Krum also put off catching the snitch for a second time during this semi-final match, as in doing so, the game would have ended and the Bulgarians would have lost due to the Japanese team's sizable lead at the time. In the end, however, Viktor's teammates managed to match the number of points on the board, which allowed Krum to finally catch the golden snitch and claim victory. The final match of the 2014 Quidditch World Cup then took place on the 1st of July between Bulgaria and Brazil, where Viktor's long-awaited dream of one day helping his nation win the world title came true. The final score in the match was 170 for Bulgaria and 60 for Brazil. While there are no official reports on what has become of Viktor Krum since his triumphant return to the Quidditch pitch in 2014, it's been said that he eventually met someone from his home country and lives with them in Bulgaria to this day. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video. What did you think? Did I miss anything? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, remember, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.